the Conservatives' choice to put politics ahead of helping people will have caused extra hardship for Canadians.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau sounding an awful lot more partisan than we've heard him of late. The PM reacting to the news that, well, opposition parties had shot down a bill that he wanted passed. Now, while he blamed the Conservatives, it was in fact all opposition parties that said no. This was an omnibus bill that, among other things, included changes to the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, the wage subsidy, and, yes, even a one-time payment of $600 to people living with disabilities. So Trudeau is blaming the opposition for his own fault. Is that really what's going on here? Here he is again.
So that's the disappointment. That despite the unity that Canadians have shown, despite businesses and individuals being there for each other, politics got in the way of actually helping Canadians.
The simple fact of the matter is that Trudeau is in a minority parliament and doesn't seem to realize it. Maybe that's because since COVID-19 started, he's had fewer checks and balances on his power than when he was running an actual majority government. His minority government has more powers than he ever did when he had the majority of the seats in the Commons. It's absolutely bizarre. And now that the opposition parties are pushing back, he doesn't like it. Here's the simple fact of the matter. Trudeau brought this bill before Parliament. He could have had one of the parties. He only needs an extra 13 votes, if everyone's sitting, or he just needs one of the parties to back him. The NDP had their reasons for not wanting to back the bill. The Bloc had their reasons. The Conservatives had theirs. All he had to do was find a way to compromise, to give one of the parties what they want. That's what you need to do in a minority parliament. And he couldn't and wouldn't do it. It was beyond him. He is just furious now and in full campaign mode because people are daring to question him. Meanwhile, he's out to campaign also against Canada's premiers. This is a bizarre situation. If you've been watching, the premiers have gone out of their way to praise the Prime Minister. Even people like Jason Kenney and Doug Ford, who had battles with him during the last election, have been saying nice things about him. Now, Trudeau is making it sound like he's picking a fight with the premiers over the $14 billion that he's offered up and how that money has to be spent. He wants it spent on things like a 10-day paid sick days benefit or daycare money that some provinces want and others don't. And he's saying, no, you've got to spend it my way or the highway.
These are things that are needed right across the country, whether there's a massive surge in the pandemic going on or whether they're just worried about preventing one. So we've put forward significant amounts of money so that the provinces can actually deliver these things that are necessary on a safe restart to Canadians. Of course, we want to make sure that that money is spent on the things that are going to keep Canadians safe, but we're happy to work with the provinces to make sure that they respond to the precise needs in these areas of the provinces.
This is Justin Trudeau back in campaign mode. There's been lots of speculation that we could be seeing a snap election called in the fall. Great, just in the middle of the second wave of COVID-19. I'm not sure that that's going to happen, but he's clearly campaigning for some reason. Maybe it is to be able to go to the polls eventually. Maybe it is to keep his numbers up and drive down those of his opponents. But this is a man who's acting like he's out stumping for votes instead of running a country in the middle of the pandemic. What Justin Trudeau has to remember, what he has to realize is that he runs a minority government. He is not operating a basic dictatorship, the kind he admires so greatly. He's running a minority. That means compromise with his federal opposition counterparts. And when it comes to running the country, he's the Prime Minister of a confederation. And the premiers are his partners, not his servants.